Right. So I was scrolling on Instagram and I came across an interview by Eileen Gu, and I thought, why not just on a random Tuesday night while I'm in bed re- record one of these videos after I saw that interview, and so here I am. Anyway, the reason I'm talking about it is just because, first of all, if you don't know who Eileen Gu is, you're lying. Second of all, if you haven't seen the interview, you're lying. And I'll admit, I didn't know who Eileen Gu was before the Winter Olympics, and I doubt I'll remember who she is afterwards. Who knows? But the reason I wanted to talk about that interview is just because every interview I see of her, she's like just so well spoken, right? And one thing I've learned throughout my life, so far at least, is the people that have captivated me the most and the people I remember the best typically tend to be the best speakers. And I think that's an important skill to have, being able to talk well. Because when you think about it, we're the only species on Earth that can communicate by speaking. Yet, it in and of itself is a skill that people rarely hone. You kind of just live with it. So, watching that interview, I noticed Eileen Gu said she's a very pensive person. I'm not going to say I'm exactly like her, but I also think I'm a pensive person. I'm similar in the sense that I'm in my head quite a bit, not in the schizophrenic way, but I'm in my head quite a bit. And that was kind of the gist that I got from her interview, is the reason she's so well spoken and why she can articulate herself so well in interviews is partly due to the fact that she's always in her head, thinking about what she says and whatnot. And I'm similar in that aspect that I also I'm in my I'm in my head quite a bit, but I'm not her, right? So anyway, I just want to get back to the point of talking is a skill, or speaking well is a skill that people rarely hone, and usually the people that I'd say exude charisma are the ones that are most well spoken, right? A lot of the people that I remember the most, that I think maybe I'd look up to in some sense, are the ones that speak well, show people have athletic ability or they're good at something, right? But when you speak to them, they'll capture you, and oftentimes it's the people that speak well are the most well liked in general anyway. Um, Now, as a football fan, recently I saw an interview with Diogo Dalot, the right back at United. Now, he's foreign. He's Portuguese, so English isn't his first language. But in the interview, he was just so well spoken, right? He chose all his words carefully. The way he spoke, it wasn't arrogant, but it was confident. And I think people miss that, is that he's, 25, I think, 25, 26. He's Portuguese. English is his second language. Maybe not even his second, maybe his third. And he's talking like that. And then you got Eileen Gu, who's, I think, 22, 23. She's still a university student. And she's talking like that. So I think speaking is a skill that I myself want to build. And I think, it's a good skill to have, right? Now, onto the other part I was talking about with, she said she's a very pensive person. Also, I'm saying all of this in bed on a Tuesday night. I don't think I'm going to even release it anytime this week. It depends because I'm just so busy with work. Um, but yeah, she's a very pensive person. She's in her head quite a bit. And that's another good trait to have, because to me, in order to grow as a person, you need to have a level of self introspection. A lot of people would perceive themselves as perfect or whatnot, whatever you want to say it as. But she said, I don't know if it was in that interview, if it was in another one, where she wants to be someone that 8 year old her would look up to. And I feel like that's probably something that lingers in a lot of people's mind is if you went back in time right now, would you be proud of the person that you are right now? You know? And I think I'm trying to think of a way to properly say this, but that's something that a lot of people should consider is if you saw 8 year old you right now, would 8 year old you be mesmerized by the way you speak, the way you act, just the way you are? And also, I'm going to go off on another tangent here because that's what that's what the channel's about. You might have just heard my phone there because I'm in bed. Um, the as an 8 year old, right? I had the same mentality that the people I remember the best and the people I still do remember are the ones that are the most well spoken, you know. Um, but also as a Muslim, you know, you watch a lot of Islamic lectures, and you know you go to the mosque every Friday. There's going to be a khutbah before the prayer, a little mini sermon, and in that usually they talk, and I find that I'm going to be honest. While I do remember the content of the sermons, if it's something new to me, if it's not something that I've heard before, I seldom. Oh no, I will remember like the imam, the person talking. But sometimes there's like a really well spoken imam who will talk really well, really eloquently, and they'll convey their points in a way that makes sense for most people. There's some that will kind of just shout and will expect you to take it in just on the basis of like fear or anger or sadness or whatever. But there's some that will, tell you the information and you'll take it into your heart because, well, just the way they say it to you. And that's another thing. Well, is there an Islamic concept? Speaking beautifully, right? Speaking nicely. So I'm just gonna circle around back, to Eileen Gu here. Um, people have their opinions on her, because she's competing for China while she's an American. In my opinion, I'm like, more power to you, mate. You're getting money from both countries, you're getting brand deals, whatever. But I think for her being only 22, that's a year older than me, or 23. She's a year or two older than me. I'd say she's far more successful than probably everyone I know, right? In this world, at least, you can go to another thing. But um, I think that's a person that has captivated me, not because of her looks, but because of the way she speaks. Every single interview she's had this far, is something that she doesn't have ums, ahs, and likes. Maybe a few here and there, but she conveys a message that makes sense. She'll say something that means something. She won't just say, "Oh, at the end of the day, it was a good effort." Blah blah blah. She'll say something. And Loki, I think she's a psychopath because I don't. There's something off about her. But anyway, maybe the best speakers are psychopaths. I don't know. Um, but yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. I just thought. I guess my question that I want to kind of a kind of rhetorical question at the end of this is: do you think you speak well? I don't know if that's rhetorical, but do you think you speak well? Because you can talk fine to your friends and family, but if you got asked a question in the streets, would you just mumble and stutter? I think I would. I think the reason I'm speaking here fairly like without too much pause is because I'm comfortable, I'm relaxed. But I think you got to get used to speaking in uncomfortable situations, speaking when, you know, speaking when you don't want to. Being able to speak is a skill that is often ignored, but it's a skill that you should hone. Anyway, I've probably repeated myself 50 million times here because I'm in bed. It's late on a Tuesday night, and I'm here just shit posting on a Tuesday night. This isn't going to go up on a Tuesday night because usually I put gameplay behind this, but I don't have gameplay because I don't have time. Maybe I'll do Minecraft or something. I don't know. I don't really enjoy Minecraft too much. But it's late, and that was a thought I was just having after I watched that Instagram post. Literally, I just put my phone down. It's right next to my head. So, yeah, I'm gonna pose you that question. Do you think you speak well? And do you think it's a skill you could hone in your free time? Because it is. I think it's an easy skill to hone, but it's just ignored. So anyway, thank you if you're still here. See ya.